Is that what you call it?
Yeah,
Straight up
especially
bubble
after
board.
that alliance loss.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh, that was so painful. It's like...
I mean, you can say bullshit, but that is just NSFW mentioning that game again. Like,
I think we'll be talking about that ending
10
for
seconds remaining.
years to come and debating about, alright, how do you make sure that this doesn't happen to you as a team?
Just get a meteor hammer, you know? That's what that's been made for. But yeah, Ember Spirit, so we're gonna see a lot of spirits here. Can any one of these teams pick up the Void Spirit to round out the lineup? That's what I'm wondering right
now. NiP could, I think.
Radiant team back.
I would put 2 spirits versus 2 spirits.
Yeah. Still the Vengeful Spirit and the Spirit Breaker, so we're not gonna get all the spirits in, no matter what.
Venge is banned anyway. First phase.
Very sad. For real though. I mean, yeah, you've got the Ember Spirit, which gives you that ability to take these, to buy the space for the Arc Warden.
5 seconds remaining.
So you can turn into this late game monster, and Ember Spirit can obviously just join up with the Doom with the Clockwork and provide that extra bit of catch and DPS. Could have even heroes like Enchantress, Magic Boost, Terrorblade if you can keep him from sundering ideally.
And I like Ember Spirit in situations where he is more utility to a main DPS, where you're holding people in place, you're applying debuffs to them. Maybe in the case of you can go a Veil build, you can go to Deso build, which we see a lot recently. Just apply minus armor to everyone, and then my carry right clicks away of you. It's great, and especially when you have a lot of indiscriminate just damage that's going to be pumped out by this Arc Warden. He's not going to be targeting all that hard. He's just going to click whoever's near to him. And an Ember Spirit is ideal to really amp the damage of like a singular right clicker into a teamfight situation.
Yep. Alright, 20 seconds for the last pick. How are they gonna lane this actually? Do we know already, or?
I mean, I would personally say that unless the I'm not too familiar with the Storm Spirit Arc Warden matchup mid, I do think that the Arc should be okay there, as long as he doesn't get denied so hard that the Storm Spirit gets the 6 first. That's where it gets really risky.
Yep.
So I would say Ember Spirit safe lane, and the funny thing is that they just picked up Skywrath Mage, and Skywrath Ember is stupid hard to lane against.
10 seconds remaining.
They deal so much damage. It's so unfair.
Remaining.
Like whenever you have to play against Skywrath alone, that's bad enough, you know. It's just like, oh yeah, I guess I'm just gonna get freaking arcane bolted a million times in a row. And then he's just gonna go home and recharge mana and do the same thing all over again. It's like,
and especially if he leaves the lane, he's also going to give more EXP to the Ember Spirit, which is like the only reason why you're normally a little bit like, do I really want to do this about laning Ember Spirit on the safe lane?
Yeah.
Beastmaster. I gotta say, I'm always very biased about. Should I call him Bias Master or Bay Master? Because let's face it, it's not just the pecs, my dude. This hero has everything, including the pecs.
He's got the voice. He's got the pecs.
Yeah.
It's got the clothing, I mean, it's
like if you have an assassin like the Storm Spirit that you really want to enable, what you need most is information. Because the Storm Spirit, especially if you also have the Earth Spirit combined, like these two can kill somebody 100 to 0. And they can do so from quite a big distance, but you gotta know if you're gonna get backup or not. And in the case of a Beastmaster, you're always going to have that vision.
Yeah, you have vision, you have this this lockdown is also going to be very important against these very mobile heroes like Ember Spirit.
Yeah. Borslow is going to annoy the crap out of the Ember.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, the Sky does, I think that's why they were waiting with the pick a bit. They might have already wanted the Beastmaster, but the Skywrath Mage is going to be decent at dealing with the boars. That said, if the Skywrath Mage is focused on killing your boars instead of on harassing you, you're winning already.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a couple of layers to why I think it's a good pick in the end. But you do need to think about
you gotta judge these trade-offs, you know. It's like
Yes.
Because normally you do not want to trade balls away. Like, you don't want to give them up because they're actually a lot of golden experience early on. Especially in this first couple of levels, they do make quite of a difference.
Holy moly!
But, yeah, if the trade-off is that you don't actually have health points to play the lane with, might be worth it, you know?
Might
See
just be
nodding
worth it.
yeah. Alright, we'll see what's going on. Game number 1 of this 2-game series. NiP versus Khan. And quick pause. He gives us a chance to take a look at what their standing is actually in the groups. NiP doing quite well so far. The only team that's undefeated. 4-0.
Nice.
They've only played 2 series, but hey, still, it is something worth mentioning. Khan 4-2. Also pretty good. So this should be a pretty good match, just judging by that. I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, like, interestingly enough here, it is actually Supreme on the Ember Spirit. Like, because for me this is really between the Ember and the Storm Spirit here. Ultimately the carry matchup is heavily in favor of NiP, but that doesn't have to matter if Mio gets like a crazy enough game on the Storm Spirit. And I started off with that. It's like, hey,
Oh yeah.
this is the kind of guy who maybe could provide that. At the same time, though, he can definitely go too deep, and playing Storm Spirit into a Skywrath Mage is not fun. If he saves the silence for you, you're going to be disabled for so long. So most likely he is going to have to move into a Yule Scepter, which a lot of Storms like to skip these days.
Yeah.
If you can just go the Kaya. But he has to use, or he has to play reactive in the sense that he has to wait until his team has already gone in, or he needs to jump the Skywrath. Because otherwise he has to wait until a BKB in order to get to properly play the game. There's a lot of
if you jump Skywrath though, you always have to also watch out for Sableye Doom, right? I mean,
yeah.
Doom, the ultimate, is made against heroes like Storm Spirit.
See you later, nerds.
You know? So that's something worth keeping in mind.
Yeah, the more I think about that, the more I'm like, man, it's Doom plus Arc Warden just feels like a really good combination because you got so many bases covered. Like, most of the heroes that jump are not going to be good against Doom, and vice versa. If you are, you know, the steady kind of hero that can just survive Doom, stand there, right click a bunch more, then yeah, I'm afraid Arc Warden's gonna outdo you. A really solid core combination there.
Alright, let's see how the lanes shape up here as we get into the first game of the series. After a quick pause here is Gilger to do the reconnect. I mean, there's just so much synergy in a lot of NiP's heroes. I mean, we haven't talked yet about the Clockwork Skyrath.
Nope.
So Misha hooking in, getting someone inside the cogs, easiest setup. Era's life will just dropping down a Mystic Flare, getting maxed value out of that.
Yeah. And you can also do the flare combination with the Polas from Ember Spirit.
Yeah. Also, another thing, we talked about the vision for the Beastmaster, which is obviously gonna be extremely strong if you use it well.
30 seconds to battle.
At the very least, NiP, they also have a bit of extra vision like that from the rocket flares. So they're not completely handicapped in that way.
And especially because they have so much lane push just in their cores, like the Ember is one of those mobile wave pushers that takes down waves really fast and likes to play up, as well as the extra hero from Charlie. He doesn't actually have to use his flare to push out waves, because that's what you often see in drafts where Clockwork is very important, is that his rocket flare is mostly glorified global wave push, as opposed to actually a fighting vision tool. So he's going to have space for that this game. This could be a very good game for Misha, especially if he gets some nice early catches onto J4.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it should be interesting to see how these match up against each other. Clockwork can be very tough to deal with, yes. Does not quite go for the cogs here to try and keep the lane back. I mean, if they're good enough job blocking, I guess. They're just making the full-on lane swap. Naive does not want to deal with that at all. Back up.
Interesting. I mean, Gilgear is going to be really happy with the fact that he gets an early level 2 here.
Free XP, anyone? Got free XP in the top lane?
Yeah. Well, is it free? You know, for every 100 gold you get, the Doom gets like 130.
Oh well. It's just details. That's just details.
Yeah, and the party's over for Saberlight now anyway, because Naive has arrived.
Straight over to the meta just to harass Saberlight a little bit. He did get himself that Ring of Protection. So help shore up this initial problem that you have on the Doom, which is the lack of armor. Especially problematic against Terrorblade. Oh, the Korean! Oh, that's a sell too for J4.
Where are you going?
Big oof.
Doesn't have the... I mean, you don't really want to skill into the Nature's Attendance early, even though it is so powerful. You'd rather actually start trading harder in this lane, so get some points and then impetus, but yeah. He might be forced to either stay back or level up the Attendance now.
How well do you even trade against Skyroth? I mean, he's got the concussor shot now, but...
You trade for his mana, mostly.
Yeah.
And it feels bad, because you're most likely not going to get a kill opportunity on him unless he really overextends. But at the same time, the point of trading as a support is to keep him from trading into your laner.
Wait up.
With the enchant to get himself with Halberd Smasher, doing a lot of damage in with rotation in from Gilgear. Very nicely executed first blood.
Yep, and this is how that level 2 from Gilgears comes in very handy.
Yeah. At the moment he got that, he rotated bottom. Make the kill happen. Not wasting any time at all.
And in order to make sure that Naive is...
Hey, that's Mio baiting Supreme a little bit here. Not sure if they have enough firepower to eat through the Flame Guard. But they don't have anything beyond that.
Yeah, that's about all. Wait. Is that bottle actually Mio's? I don't think that bottle is Mio's. While we watch Supreme
Let's have another bottle queued out, doesn't it?
yeah.
You can't see it in I don't think...
You see, I can't see that either, but I missed it.
Fortified.
Could Gilgear have had enough money for that? I don't think so.
I mean, it says it on the Shared Tango. So if you look at the Shared Tango in the backpack, it says it's owned by J4. It's just one of these things where you buy the bottle and then you...
Saberlight!
Goodbye.
Saber, good night.
Needed to heal himself with the heal creep that he got.
Yeah, that would have done great things for him, I'm sure.
Really nice creep to get. I mean, what is this aura? 2.5 mana regen. It's ridiculous.
Oh, Doom absolutely loves it, but the fact that you need to like go stand in a corner and, you know, rub heals onto yourself for a while is very awkward.
It's also... Yeah, that's something that you don't want to
just
get to
15
drop that
health.
by, you know, it's a very private time for Doom.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that. He's fine for now, though. Might want to eat another creep for the munchies, for the heals.
Where are you going?
Certainly use it now. His Gilgear comes in, but look at this burst damage. J4 with just one impetus. Not even another charge of the meta. Oh, Gilgear's not even done yet. Wants to find the roll and error, but able to dodge a nice block though. Could not make his way inside the trees. Not sure that would have been safe with Nave just walking in there anyway.
Yeah, there was no winning there. Excellent rotations by the supports from Khan here. I love how they're really not tied to their lanes at all. When Gilgear rotated bot, J4 died but immediately came top. And now the both of them are here, and this is just a dead tower
Wait
at
up.
5 minutes.
Hera angling for deny, but it's quite tough on the Scar of Mage. Well, Gilgear not being here means that Arrow will get to live. Actually, nah. J4 being there is just scary enough so that he cannot actually threaten Terrorblade. But yeah, I mean, this is high speed, low drag gameplay I've ever seen. 5 kills on the board. Instant tower here with that, what, third metamorphosis of the game?
So smoothly played, and they have a lot of options right now as well. The fact that they have a Terabyte means that they can keep the TV top and push the lanes as well as farm the side camps. He's got 2 levels in his Conjure image right now, so he's going to do okay with that. But of course, they could also swap it out because a Beastmaster could also very easily play up there. And it just goes to the strengths of their draft that you can make these decisions in a way that suits you best. Silence.
Not sure if that was best idea. Era's waiting for the suns come through. The damage is real, but it's not just enough. Era with the haste June snagged away. He'll still die though. J4 gets a click in. Mio. Well, they really want to, but can they do this? Look at J4 just smashing. Oh, imagine if that was an impetus hit too. Supreme might have died.
Oof.
Oof. Oof indeed.
But Mio being very calculated with his health here, and especially like with that armor, you can, after the burst damage is gone, you can right-click trade really well. So he's not afraid to save up those bottle charges and see if he can bait Supreme in a little bit deeper.
Yeah. Was looking very scary there for a layperson like me, but yeah, as I said, he knew exactly what he was doing there. He knew exactly that he was not a too much trouble there, even with the silence.
Looks like he's going for fast Orchid, so they're really relying on getting the jump first on Khan. And I mean, that's what I said in the draft, right? If they get the information, they can make the jumps. They can probably peel NiP's lineup apart completely. But they have to be going first. If they don't go first, then that silence is not going to do a whole lot for Neil or any of his teammates.
Yeah. Eventually, you're also going to have to deal with some other headaches. I mean, not just the counterplays from Era if you don't jump on him. Also, Misha, once he's level 6, could mix things up with a nice, well-placed hookshot there in the middle of it. So eventually NiP, then we'll have some more tools to deal with this sort of aggression. Now, actually find Cheshire Cat in here. Sure. Doesn't have the cogs to actually block him in, so he's just gonna have to try and do it a different way. But here with rotation through, Gilgir also showing up speed. All of a sudden, out of mana, Strode up! They did not think this one through. Cheshire Cat lives. Unless Charlie can make some big plays here somehow with this clone, but the ball is just preventing that. Oh, the courier! He got the courier though!
And I think if you know that Charlie is coming down here, you can play this one a whole lot more patient. You can just wait for Charlie to go under the tower, and then you know if people are TPing in, you're going to have to vision. You won't get caught like this, but instead, like, the only warning they had was that Cheshire Cat sort of turned around while he was in the trees instead of fleeing further.
Yep.
And that's a hard call to make. It's like, oh guys, he's not running. We should run. It's like, what? It's just a Beastmaster. No, like that.
Yes, it is a Beastmaster.
Yeah. J4. Oh, Rocket Flare betrays him, but do they have? No, they don't have the damage.
This is why I'd really like to have that centaur on the Doom.
I mean, or an Infernal Blade point, but since he has been just really farming on this top lane, you don't really need that. You just want to be able to devour, as well as Scorched Earth and run out when your presence is no longer tolerated.
Yep. Gilgir soaking some well-deserved XP and money in mid. Bottom lane completely free for Cheshire Cat. Yes.
Yeah, and you can see by the wording that the objective for Khan right now is to hold that bottom lane. They have the advantage now by getting that top tower basically for free at 5 minutes. So as long as they hold bottom now, there's not a whole lot of places where NiP can go. And they're always going to be vulnerable here, so this Sky and Doom combination needs to... Yeah, they have a ward watching over on the side as well. They need to be careful about rotations.
Just gonna TP out, concede this. Oh, not so much. Supreme like looking to snag it in. Huh? Nicely done, actually.
He just wants to reach.
He's unbottomable, that sort of fight's happening. Drag back here, off to say, like, just keep it in. To die down here, Gilgir. Proving to be quite tanky already. Only at level 6, tanking quite a few of those spells. Those Supreme now taking over, and that should do the trick with the last right click. Also, not enough to save his buddy. So 1-for-1 trade when all is said and done. Who could hold them? Not sure.
I still think Khan is fine with that. Like, their only purpose here is to keep that bot tower. And if they only have to spend Cheshire Cat down here and maybe Gilger sometimes, that's a really big win. Because those were 4 heroes from NiP.
Radiant are
And
scanning.
sort of 2.5 from Khan.
Yeah, at the very least, Supreme was the one to get the kill instead of NiP. Much needed recovery kill, you know.
Good
If you look at
night.
the network right now, sitting it's right up there with the Beastmaster as a mid hero. Not ideal, but at the very least, Charlie, I mean, he's got the Midas going, so your Arc Warden is going to do Arc Warden things and maintain his proper position in the network chart, more or less.
They have to be ahead at least on the Terra Blade in case of Khan. If he falls behind too far compared to Trinity, well, actually no, that's not true. I think Mio is more important again because he's the one that has to.
He'll set up kill on Supreme for Mio here if he wants to last in, but
Dire's middle
there it is!
tower is
Perfectly
under
done.
attack. Dire's structures are
And he's going for that Orchid. Nearly has it actually. Entrance skill, mid tower. This looks very studied.
It's one of these
Dire's middle
set
tower
piece
has
moves
fallen.
almost, right? Straight out of the playbook. Oh yeah. Smoke out, rotate behind, get a kill, get a tower. It's like it's
Yep. Like down to the
It's-
place where the
Dire's
vision
middle
is and
tower
like
is
in
under
general, like
attack.
this exact area is where the pick off the entrance skill happens for the mid tower.
Yeah.
It's almost never up to the left because it's too dangerous to move it up into there.
it takes much longer here. Just go all the way up there, and then you can be sidestepped much more easily. Yeah, it's very well executed textbook play.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Let's see if they defend
Beautiful.
bottom again on Khan here. Cheshire Cat is near, but this time he might.
Oh, that's not the slow, so Sableye trying to deal with
Nice
these
up
balls,
silence.
but he cannot get close at the moment. But Charlie's just doing some work. Enough DPS to just make Khan not want to engage into this at the moment.
Smoke into top. Era broke.
And the illusion Supreme breaks as well. Oh, barely gets out. Neo though, he's re-engaging to him with J4. He bursts down. Era. I mean, Supreme should be fine. He still has plenty of remnants. And with this pressure, that's one way to defend top, to defend bottom, I guess.
Yeah,
Making
absolutely.
them look top.
Cheshire Cat's back.
Also love how Supreme's remnant was super
Radiant's
slow
middle
because you
tower
threw it
is
out
under attack.
just at the moment when you got hit with the overload right click.
And now they lose
Hey,
zero. I
It's
gotta.
bottom also like stand in.
He sure is.
Here the raw. Oh, shit, again. Someone sidesteps the hook. And we'll lose Gilger here. Same 1-for-1 trade as we saw earlier.
Yeah, and this is Misha not being involved in either the earlier movement on bottom or in the attempt towards top. He was sitting mid just taking some creep waves, and I do think that he definitely needed the experience because he didn't have his hook yet, but at the same time, he has just not been in this game at all, and this could have been a moment where he could have made a difference even if he was still level 5.
Well, we'll see what he can do. I mean, now that the hook's online, we've obviously already seen the first one being sidestepped. Heads up play there from Cheshire Cat. Yeah, it looks like
And
they are
it's
grouping
going
up for
to-
smoke. There we go.
Yeah,
Dire
they
are
have to, like,
scanning.
with this hook, and this is also, the clock is going to have to get his experience through fights, because with all of this lane push, there's not going to be any lanes free for him to actually do that in.
They kind of got everything ready. I mean, Supreme level 9, almost 10, so he's in a decent spot DPS-wise. Got the hook. We've also got the Skyruff ultimate ready to go, plus the Doom.
But you can
Radiant's
see the
only problem
difference
is-
here is that they didn't move into vision, so they didn't know if there was an entrance skill
Yeah.
for them to get on mid. So, nothing there. Now they have to move towards bottom, and here also, look at how many heroes are hiding in the trees right now. Khan 100% knows.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem.
Radiant's
You have all
bottom
these tools.
tower
Oh yeah,
is
we
under
guys, you can
attack.
kill somebody, but one very important prerequisite is that you actually find somebody to kill.
Radiant's
And they don't.
structures
Cheshire
are
Cats get out. They'll
fortified.
gank the tower, I guess.
Radiant's bottom
We'll
tower
book it on the
is
smoke
under
gank the
attack.
tower. The little can't stay at the same time. Let's go straight into Roche. Very fast one, despite the lack of real mines armor here. Maybe happening, but now the initiation comes through right out the Roche, but the roar over on Doom. Haste just goes down before he can get anything out. Oh, Supreme almost got caught by the roll. Neo
Radiant's bottom
doing that
tower
extra
is
kill on the
under
clockwork
attack.
instead. Crazy mobility. These spirit heroes.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, Mio's still moving into a Yule's afterwards, so he is looking to be very independent in the moves that he can make, not having to be afraid of anything but the Doom, and in all but the most, like, special of circumstances, he should be able to get out of range of a Doom anyway. Before it
Dire's
goes off.
top tower is under attack.
Especially
Radiant's
now, I mean, he
bottom
doesn't
tower
have
is
the...
under attack.
The tank is not really full right now. It's the only issue, but beyond that you have Haste June to just give you a bit of extra boosts, make you... I mean, the Haste June makes it so that you're able to move a little bit more without having
Dire's top tower is
to
under
necessarily
attack.
use a lot of ball lightning.
Yep. So you get to keep your status up, basically.
Yeah. So it's also quite useful to keep handy. But the most important thing, of course, right now
Dire's top
is that
tower
Aegis.
has
Aegis on
fallen.
a Storm. One of the best
Radiant's
things
middle
that you can
tower
have,
is under attack.
Dota. Kind of ball in, use all your stuff, and burst somebody down, die, and then do it all over again. So yeah,
Yep.
they're leveraging this power right now. They got the tier 2 top. They secured the outpost before the 20-minute mark.
Yeah, and you can see,
Radiant's bottom
again,
tower
they're...
is under
I
attack.
just really like Khan's vision this game, but they've really moved on to control the middle of the map, much like you would control the middle of a chessboard. It means that if you have your forces concentrated around that area, you're always the fastest to get to whatever thing needs attending to. And look at that, maybe what needs attending to is Supreme. Oh, he's going to need a hospital.
Just shy of enough money for the Yules. That would have... I'm not sure if that would have saved him there, but it would have certainly
Dire's
gave him
middle
a
tower
fighting
is
chance
under
up against the
attack.
Orchid. Yeah, Mia finding extra kill with that timing still in play. Gildia, look at where he's at. Like, he wants to find more.
He gets spotted now, though.
They caught a glimpse of him now. The ward didn't actually see him.
Oh yeah, that's true. He was in a little nook over there.
Dire's bottom tower is
Clever
under
position.
attack.
But yeah, you know that that level problem that Clock had, it's only going to get worse. The only ones that are going to be able to get experience now are Charlie and Supreme.
Aegis still
This
in
is-
play.
This is going to be a very, very long climb out of a trench if NiP can do it at all.
Yeah.
It's not even that bad
Dire's
yet if you
middle tower
just
is
look at the
under
goal.
attack.
Like, it's pretty bad, but the real problem is that they have no ways to get out on the map anymore. They have no ways to make a play apart from a lucky Clock Skywrath pick off. I'd say you want to keep the Doom, because that's another problem. If you right now buy space for yourself by using the Doom in a fight that's not a conclusive
Dire's
win,
bottom tower is
all
under
you've done
attack.
is made sure that Khan can do whatever they want in the next push. And it feels so bad because you
Dire's
gotta
bottom
hold
tower
on
has
to one of your
fallen.
best tools right now. Just because if you don't do it, you'll lose your base.
It's
And
all or nothing kind of
Neo?
thing. Like, oh, what the hell?
Dire's bottom tower.
Yeah, I know there's a Clockwork who thought he
Radiant's
could
top
farm.
tower is under attack.
Kind of the thing that's...
Silence,
Oh, God,
Supreme,
war coming through.
beautiful
Yeah,
chaining.
enough damage.
Look at Mio go.
On to the next one. Error. You just got Mio just enough mana for a pullback here on the Vortex. Yeah, just like that, another hero on the sidelines. And hey, guess what that
Dire's
means?
bottom tower is
There's a
under
Terror
attack.
Blades next to a
Dire's
tower.
structures are fortified.
And I think that if NiP is a bit more forceful in your decision making, you can realize that you're going to lose these heroes anyway, and you might as well throw them at something.
Dire's
Try and
bottom
force
tower
reactions.
has fallen.
But instead they lose them on their own side of the map. They lose the bottom tower.
Dire's bottom tower is under
At
attack.
least they did get it, the outpost back up top. Still get unable to secure that. But yeah,
Supreme's good as yours.
yeah, he's got that now,
Saberlight
so it's gonna be
working
a
on
bit
the
tougher.
blink
Okay, that's Yules is not gonna help his clockwork friend though. Mio is just feasting on him. On the hero it's meant to be tanky, but yeah, as I said, he's on level 8. It's not really tanky at all, is he?
He is not.
Radiant's top
He's
tower.
also
tri lane
played
start.
just before Aegis expired, so now he's back up to full.
Yeah. Like the tri lane start kind of hurt the clockwork there, and it doesn't matter too much if there's space on the map later to, you know, get it back up. But instead, like his inactivity was during that window where Naive was making, well, basically building his own cozy little kingdom up in the top lane. I just couldn't work that hook shot. Oh.
Who's this dad actually? That's Gilgis. Get the helmet of Dominator. To make life even tougher for Misha.
Yeah. Interesting pickup against the Doom. Normally Saberlight really would enjoy it if people grab the helmet of Dominator because they're bringing his snacks right to him.
Oh yeah. There we go. Oh, I've got the stun now, the silence through. It's finally they actually get to use some of the spells.
Yep. And there's that Blink Dagger. So finally, at least Khan does not have the complete upper hand when it comes to engaging. They definitely have those conditions ready on NiP now too. And they were so reliant on hookshot before from a clockwork who really did not feel confident doing that. And that's the other problem, right? It doesn't even matter if you could be doing things if you don't feel like you could. And let's face it, Misha, it's such a hard game. I mean, it again. I'm not surprised that he didn't get any moves off, basically, when the entire game has been like this.
Yeah.
And look at that.
Hey,
Since
yeah,
I talked about
I'm just scouting and like, oh god, I'm dead again, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
And there we go, Gilger, missed the roll, not force up links, and what have you. Can they catch Armor Spirit? That's a jump forward. He doesn't have the use, but he gets roared after the pull back. They need some more damage here. Across the bubble. And they will not be able to actually. Supreme gets the heals off, still survives here. Now the counterplay is being real, like 2 kills. They're trying to even this out a little bit, and they do find Saberlight as well as the Crown. But considering the state of the game, I think NiP are gonna have to be happy with that, do they?
Yep. Yeah, they do. And this is also, well, the problem is that it's still gonna cost them their last outer tower, but at the very least, not losing the Ember Spirit there, it also gives you a lot of confidence in that, hey, alright, we at least have the tools to stand there now, as opposed to having to kite around them all the time.
Tower is under attack.
Duels make a big difference there.
They did have to use these tools though. I mean, Doom's on cooldown now for a long time.
Yes.
I mean, Mystic Flare is not the longest cooldown in the world, so they're kind of bad.
But they also didn't lose the mid tower.
Yeah. Oh, that lives on a sliver of HP.
It does, and it's not just important as insurance for like, okay, they can't
Radiant
take our
are
Rex
scanning.
immediately, but also as a point to TP to, as
Yep.
Saberlight just demonstrated. It saves you 15 seconds in getting out of them on the map at least.
Oh, yeah, sure. Especially if your outpost is not safe, safely in your hands, you know, it's...
Oh yeah, well they're gonna secure it again.
Yep. Alright, Misha, just trying to soak up whatever he can. Well, defense for hookshot. It's not gonna be long for the world. It's the entire team coming here. Mia, not even zipping for him, just zipping for the arcane rune, which he keeps finding. Why does he keep finding arcane runes? How's that fair?
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
To be fair, all runes except illusion feel really unfair on Storm
Yeah,
Spirit.
that is true. That is true. Of course, I'm the first to say, oh my god, why does he have an illusion rune now?
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
I think if he found that, he'd probably just hand it over to Naive instead anyway.
I just refill my bottle, but I don't actually want this rune.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good point. I mean, illusion is really good for Nave.
Supreme? Mia was thinking about it, but not this time. The Yules makes him too hard of a target. This is a bait if I've ever seen one.
Saberlight and Era just
Radiant's top tower
hiding the
is
side.
under
With the
attack.
blink, you want to hold on to those wall storms. You have to. You go roll blink stump initiation, which is a pretty good setup for the
Radiant's
Mystic
top
Flare.
tower has fallen.
No one was there to oblige to walk away empty-handed. I mean, the clone gets a tower at least.
once again, more space to breathe, but what they really want is that mid tower. And that's what's on the plate here. If they manage to win a fight in this mid lane, they can get the mid tier 1 down, and that will slow down so much of the tempo that Khan is throwing at NiP right now. But until they get a fight and win it, they're just under pressure the entire time.
Things like these fights, they kind of have to start with NiP getting quick pick off for them to have a chance, right?
Yes. Yeah, again, if Khan started, they have so much disable. They can really pick and choose their targets in whichever way they want.
Especially if Naive is in the middle of these fights. I mean, look at his net worth, sitting at a lot of net worth. That's the official term. Got the Skadi completed now, plus I believe the
look at that Roche spawn right in front of their faces. Yeah, like he's just an item up. And I do think that sometimes as casters we focus too much on like, oh, look at this 20k net worth. Whereas, you know, what says a lot more is the fact that there is a full MKB on this TV. And no way for Charlie to itemize into that.
That is the logic that we basically presumed everyone knows about. But
it's short
really good point. Isn't it? She caught in the middle of all of this here, but is still alive courtesy of being super tanky as Nurse with Supreme on the front, but does have to run that back. There's so much back and forth in this fight. The roll all the way near the base. He has to find the real Arc Warden. Cheshire Cat trying to set up for that and will be successful. He lives on 50 HP. Gotta be choking. His Doom is on the Storm Spirit as they're trying to clean through this illusion, this clone. But I believe, yeah, I did finish off Gilg. But ultimately also fed a lot of gold back. And damn, very hard to keep track of these fights when it's just happening in 5 places at once.
Oh yeah, this mobility on Khan especially is sick. That chase through, and you gotta be in the right mindset for it too, right? You gotta already know that whoever's behind is, you know, they're getting finished off. They're going to do more. And one of the things that really enables them to do it, like both Cheshire Cat as well as Gilgir, just have these very reliable builds. And look at Cheshire Cat. He's got a Blink Force Staff. This is made to either jump or follow up, not to deal damage himself. And then Gilgir, of course, got extra information out of the Helm's Dominator, as well as that he's super tanky, so that when he goes in, like he did before, he can survive for so long and tank so much damage that's, you know, meant for other heroes.
Chains, like a bunch of clockwork hits and the Skywrath ult inside the cogs and whatnot, but he just walks out of it somehow.
Glimmer Cape, dude. Glimmer Cape's an item. That
is true. It is indeed an item in the game. Dota 2 is Mio. Okay, just follows his Spirit Brother. Follow up with the roar. That's a frame if I've ever seen one.
Oh yeah. And now it's down to base siege.
We've got a terrible blade. This base is not going to stand for long. We have the glyph for now. Yeah, this is problematic.
Yeah, glyph down. Now they also are going to have to work into this bubble. One down. TB has to move into it.
There's the clone. Oh, maybe just bait it in. Nice little double stomp from Saberlight. But it didn't get the actual kills from that. Neo lives. I believe the cheese was eaten. Yeah, it's one of his lives down, quote unquote. It doesn't have any. Yeah, it does have the Meta Star, but it doesn't have a BKB or anything to help him ensure that he can get the Thunder out, I guess.
Yeah, they definitely panic Force staffed him out there as well. J4 was not so secure in his idea that he was going to get the cheese off.
Oh, these items. There's a Quickening Charm sitting there as well. And all of this. Whose Quickening Charm is that actually? But there. Wait a second. Oh, it's also there, so okay. Thought NiP might have maybe left that there from earlier. They haven't found any of their items yet, actually.
Paladin sword. Yeah.
So that's
big jump by Neo. Did they bait him though?
It's the Aegis. What can you find if he gets a Killian? So far though, Misha is very much alive. The rest of this team a little bit far out. It's basically 3 Aegis. They're still locking NiP inside their base. Like, they don't actually get to farm this next tier of neutralizers. Khan also trying to maintain that particular power spike. Full-on base siege map control game right now. The moment they get a pick off, the moment NiP steps just a little bit too far. I mean, that was the general idea behind Mio just going in there like that. Just didn't have the backup.
Yeah, need to punish him immediately. And they have to, like, if you don't choke them out hard enough, they get vision out or something, they'll actually see it when you split up like this. Like, right now, NiP doesn't know that they could go up into this triangle up towards where Gilgir is, just because they can't see that Mio isn't near. Yep. So they still have to move as fine, but
I think against those with this level of farm, he's always near, isn't he?
Yeah, technically.
Kind of. I'll zip across the map.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
There's the smoke. NiP kind of drawn out of the base a little bit. The instant silence onto Clockwork, but it wants something else. Doom coming through actually onto Terrorblade, so he can't really fight comfortably. Arrow down on the back, as Mio also still fighting the Ember Spirit. Meanwhile, J4 trying to run away from this Charlie clone. He runs out to Doom, gets the help from that. The Ute gets the TP. Doom is in a lot of trouble. Sableye gets a stop. He will die. Second on list here is NiP. They're out of resources. Unable to find an angle on any of Khan's heroes here.
Yeah, and I think the problem there is that if you get the Doom out on the TB, you gotta burst somebody else down. He's too tanky. If you spent that entire turn trying to kill him, his team is just gonna murder you. So, only option was to kill somebody else, but they were just too scattered. And yeah, Saberlight not actually tanky enough to stand next to Naive, even if Naive has been doomed.
Those won't save you either when the Terrorblade is confident enough to just stand inside of them. So send Rex down. And a few more clones, why not?
There's simply not enough physical damage to threaten him. Look at him, man, 41 armor. So you gotta do it with the magic, and well, that's where you get to the point that he is also 3.2k health, and your like spell damage scaling with levels, you don't even have full levels of concussive shot on your core. Skyrise Mage, it's just all.
Yeah, you look at these heroes, it's like, oh yeah, they actually have magic damage, but it's actually not enough against this kind of pool. Not considering that there's 4 stars and whatnot. Plenty of them on the other side as well to help them out. Like there are 3 4 stars. Gilgit, Cheshire Cat, J4. They have Glimmer Cape on J4 as well, and also Storm Spirit just initiating all this defensive thunder! Knave! Big credit to team!
Oppa! Oh, that was nice.
He's not getting out of this one.
And this is the risk that they took with that previous pick off on Mio as well. This time, he's more tanky, he gets to live. Backup comes in, and well, last stand.
Good roll, almost perfectly timed to catch Supreme. As it stands, still Gilgir will feed himself instead. So that's a good start here. Silence over on Doom. He can get his ultimate out on Kenny. Hexes, Lotuses, 4 1, 2, 3, 4 stop. They feeling like a freaking flipper ball right now, but there you go. Works out. Get another kill. They need more here, and that's why they chain forward. Then it's back and forth with Supreme. He doesn't have the firepower.
Where are you going?
He's just dead.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Mio's waiting for him.
What do you even do?
Yeah, that was not to go there. Like, I understand why he makes
to find the real Charlie. He's just being right. There's a couple of stuns though. Misha saving his friend, but Mio, what the hell is he doing here? He doesn't have an Aegis.
He's Mio.
What the hell?
I told you this man was crazy.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Goes in there with 200 HP or whatever it was.
Calculated.
200 HP, barely enough mana to get in and out there. Alright, alright.
I get sized.
You did warn me about that, so it definitely fits the bill.
Yeah.
This kind of place. Yeah, I think this game's in the bag.
It is. Like, honestly, the last try fight that, if you're NiP, the last try that you made was that fight up on the dire high ground, where they get the Doom over on Naive, but now you're just like, let's just play it out, I guess. But you're not actively
How many
resisting
kills
it.
can Neo get? There we go, 13-0-16.
Well, the Storm had to take over this game in order to win it, and I dare say he did. What an absolute
Evidence suggests
stomp.
that he did, yes.
Wow.
Your boy did it, Kips. Your boy
Yeah,
did it.
boy did it. Nice job.
Little thumbs up on the webcam for my benefit. I do appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, this was just a masterclass. I mean, there were a few things here and there, maybe with NiP. It's just few and far between, though. Like, a few plays that actually worked in NiP's favor, but beyond that, it's just play after play from Khan. They started off very fast, too. Like, Gilger just saying, hey, I'm Earthbird. I'm gonna play Earthbird, and I'm actually gonna set up for these kills straight off the bat.
And I think that is what made all of the difference here, because Ninjas in Pyjamas have a very clear road to dominating this game as well. If the Terrorblade doesn't get that tower so early, if Mio doesn't get all of this space to work around with, as well as all of this information that you get from the creep waves always being out, then it's much easier to see how NiP can make this one happen instead. But it all snowballs from the fact that Gilgear gets that level 2 top and immediately makes the most out of it with first that rotation on bot and then following that immediately killing off mid as well. It was just really very well played for him, and he set his entire team up for success.
Yeah.
And the way that Khan itemized around that as well, like so many 4 staffs, so many items to just, be able to follow up on any Mio jumps, it was really enjoyable. But at the same time, like, I can definitely see how NiP, if you have just a little bit better of a start, they can stop this entire chain short.
Alright, game number 1 in the bag. Let's see what happens in game number 2. Stay tuned for that one, coming up next.